Hello and welcome to the Otaku Network podcast. My name is Steve.
And I'm David.
And we have a guest with us today.
Bridget.
And she is joining us because we are doing a discussion on the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen. So we'll just kind of TLDR because Jujutsu Kaisen is one of the most popular series that's been created in the past 10 years. Our protagonist, Itadori Yuji, is a happy-go-lucky high school student who lives with his elderly grandfather and enjoys his days at school. He's part of the paranormal club. And his grandfather dies on him, and his dying wish is to have Yuji, no matter what he does with his life, try to save at least one person if he can. And so that ingrains within Yuji this intense purpose of service. So, cut to Paranormal Club is up to some shenanigans, and they unseal a great unspeakable evil. Good thing for them, though, a person shows up who is aware of this great unspeakable evil and steps in when things go from bad to worse. 1,000 years in the past, there was a powerful wizard, sorcerer, whatever you want to call him, named Ryoma Sukuna. Sukuna was this terrible, terrible person from 1,000 years ago who was a curse-wielding sorcerer. And he had gathered such an extent of power and control under him that it pretty much transformed him into being a monstrous being. And he was a threat to all safety and security. By the time he was destroyed, his essence was sealed into what at that point accounted to 20 fingers, because he had grown an extra pair of arms. So these fingers were meant to seal him and lock his abilities and influence away. And they were kind of lost and scattered throughout the land over time. For plot convenience, one of these super important relics just ends up to be
like the school's
an ignored icon of school's like stewardship.
Or some shit, yeah.
And so the Occult Research Club gets this and through dumb luck are able to undo the dwindling security barriers behind it and unleash its power, which draws manifestations of curses to it, which start to wreak havoc.
Which important part, not everybody can see these cursed spirits.
Correct. Yeah, you have to have the touch.
Yeah, you got to have a certain amount of...
You have to be able to have cursed energy to be able to see these curses.
And so usually bad things have to happen to you.
The person who showed up trying to track down this finger is a boy named Megumi. I forget how he ran into Yuji.
He just like conveniently runs into him.
Did you run into him at the hospital?
No. So what happens is that he is sent.
Yeah, he's sent to try to find it.
To go get Sukuna's finger.
Yeah.
From this cursed box because it needs to be collected. We don't necessarily know exactly the reason why yet in this episode.
Well, I mean, we can spoil that.
Yeah, because they do have intel that they're getting tracked down, so they need to collect them, so they need to recollect these items. So Megami's sent to go get this cursed item, though he himself kind of at this point doesn't really know what's happening with this cursed item, but all he knows is that it's bad and it's no longer there anymore. He knows that its location is in the school area, so he's wandering around the school and he does see Itadori from a further away.
He's doing stuff with the paranormal club and the sports coach is like, you need to join a sports club because you're so ridiculously good at physical things.
That's right. I forgot that's where we're introduced to the concept that Yuji is supernaturally strong and agile. Like the dude is a video game brawler, essentially. Yeah.
The coach is like, if I win, you have to join my clubs, but if you win, you're free. And
in the evening, Megumi and Yuji meet up and Megumi kind of gives him...
Oh, he's following Yuji because he can sense the trail of cursed energy that's was on
Yuji.
Itadori because he had taken the finger and there was residual cursed energy.
That's right. He had the empty box that the finger was in, and his senpai and the club had the finger and were starting to unwrap.
And Ryomen's energy was still resonating in the box.
Megumi and Yuji are there. Megumi
is literally right after Itadori's grandpa dies.
Yeah, that's why I was like, did they meet at the hospital?
Yeah, they did meet at the hospital after his grandfather died.
Yes.
Because Megumi wanted to collect the box. He looks in the box going
the hospital.
Going, hey, it's not there. And then that's kind of where it moved.
Rush to the high school. Moment too soon or too late.
They've unleashed Sukuna's energy.
There's curses that are
manifesting
coming
to try to
towards
claim. Because in the Jujutsu Kaisen universe, powerful cursed energy attracts weaker curses so that those curses can try to get stronger by consuming them.
Battle kind of goes wrong, and Megumi feeds an amount of information to Yuji to the point where Yuji decides, I don't have any other choice. I'm not going to let my grandfather down and die like a bitch. I'm going to do the disgusting thing and eat this mummy finger. So he pretty much gets imbued with Sukuna's energy and saves the day. And then through force of willpower, forces the essence of this ancient sorcerer into submission.
Before Sukuna rips Itadori's shirt off and proudly displays all of his evil tattoos.
Yeah.
And gets a second set of eyes.
Okay, I hate that. So Sukuna had 2 sets of eyes because apparently maybe he had 2 penises. I don't know. Everything is up for grabs with how these characters are designed. But when Yuji is suppressing Sukuna's ability, he has markings on his cheeks to represent where eyes are. It looks like gills, and I've always been physically revolted by gills.
Fair.
This first episode ends with Yuji has suppressed this evil sorcerer, and Megumi's mentor shows up, a man named Gojo.
Satoru Gojo.
There's a policy that the organization that these two work for have, that anybody who has consumed one of these cursed fingers of this ancient sorcerer needs to just be immediately executed, because that's the only way to actually destroy the artifact's ability, because you can't destroy the artifact themselves. Gojo has other plans though, and makes a deal with Yuji. He wants Yuji to enroll in what's known as Jujutsu High School, where he will be part of his organization that scours the countryside of Japan, fighting back curses and dealing with organizations that are trying to use curses for less than idyllic means. But in the end of the idea is Yuji is going to be executed regardless. So how about play along nicely and you'll get a little bit of time to hang out.
Because the ultimate goal is Gojo is going to try to convince the Council of Sorcerers that if Itadori consumes all 20 fingers, they can have him have the fingers, suppress Sukuna, and then kill him.
Yep. So
and then ultimately destroying him forever.
What I truly love is how Itadori is just completely okay with dying.
Yeah,
He's just like, I get axed for something that I kind of caused by accident. Yeah, no, I'm cool with that.
So Yuji, who at this point, conveniently enough, is an orphan, is shipped off to Tokyo to join Jujutsu High School Tokyo Division, and is paired up with 2 other incoming first-year students. One of them being Megumi.
We glaze through the fact that they join the school together. We get Megumi, Nobara, and Itadori.
Yeah, we get introduced to the 3rd student, who is a fiery-tempered female who uses cursed objects like she is a traditional Japanese curse hunter, essentially.
Nobara's best girl. I really like Nobara.
What is her curse technique called again? I can't remember. It has to do with being, if she has any connection to you whatsoever, she can utilize you as a weapon.
The trio is now established. We have the basic idea and concept of the school and what the Jujutsu sorcerers do. The trio is given a task. They go to a juvenile detention facility to investigate a curse disturbance. The thing ends up becoming way out of their league. So there's a couple of different classifications of cursed spirits. There's different ranks. Top one is just non-committally called special.
Special grade, which deals with things that are severely dangerous. Yeah. In the prison, the trio end up fighting this special grade.
That's pretty much out of there. Essentially, it's a curse that ends up getting one of the other fingers, which supercharges him, and a dramatic battle takes place in which Yuji ends up dying.
Yeah.
At this point, though, as Yuji is on death's door, he has an interaction with Sukuna and makes a pact with him to be brought back to life and restored. And the pact ends up being that at a certain point, Sukuna will utter a word and then be able to take control of Yuji's body unhindered for a minute. And the second part of it is that Yuji will not remember this conversation. So nobody knows that Yuji is alive except for Gojo, who discovers him.
He's on the table, and Gojo and then
the doctor and then the one assistant.
Well, technically Yuji is dead.
Even
Gojo's like, nah, he's dead. Given how he absorbed with Sukuna, that's why they're all not surprised that you're alive actually. Yeah, so, sure.
I just like how he does the what's going on?
He's like, yo, I was just taking a nice nap.
Gojo knows that the higher-ups are not happy with Yuji being alive and has an idea in his head that this was a setup to take out Yuji, which is true. So he takes the opportunity to hide Yuji for a while and train him up. So then we shift into training arc, where Yuji is taught some of the broader defensive styles and techniques within the Jujutsu.
He learns about like domain expansion and
how to control his energy, stuff like that. Training arc, we also get introduced to the Kyoto school and a concept of them having a competition.
we get to meet Toto.
The entire time since they introduced the competition, I was dreading it to show up.
Steve
Anyways,
hates
training
tournament
arc,
arcs.
or I'd say tournament arcs. So we do Yuji training, and then we also get a secondary arc where we start to get a little bit more of the broader storyline, where we're introduced to a curse user by the name of Gato, who had left the Jujutsu high school program, whatever, years in the past, and is kind of this rogue agent. And he has this 2 lines of thinking. I think primarily he just wants fucking revenge. But he's spinning this concept, I believe, this is my perception on it, to these special level curses, this concept of a evolution of the world order, and that cursed beings will be the ones on top.
Yeah.
And so he's using them with this idea of this cursed utopia to fight his revenge battle. That's my theory on his whole action.
In the movie, you see a lot of where he's talking about how he hates humanity.
Sure.
He literally calls normal humans monkeys.
He's an emo kid. Half of these people are just fucking emo edgelords.
Right. Anytime a human touches him, he'll literally like hand sanitizer.
So we have this greater narrative of there is an active organization of quote unquote evil people who are trying to disrupt the order of things and are going to antagonize the Jujutsu users.
And they're trying to kill Gojo.
Yeah.
Because Gojo's like the thing that's stopping them from doing this.
Yeah, Gojo is essentially the baddest man in the planet.
Well, Gojo is basically, they describe him as a force of nature himself, and that without him, it would be a free-for-all. Like, his pure existence is meant to maintain the order of everything.
He has
He has both of the family's curse techniques that had not happened in over, I think, like 500 years.
So after Yuji's training, Gojo is going to reveal his continued existence during the inter-high competition between Kyoto and Tokyo. Before that happens, though, he pairs him up with a friend of his, this gentleman named Nanami.
Friend.
They stumble upon this mystery of body mutilation through cursed energy and find a unique cursed being who is essentially the manifestation of humanity's woe and problems. Yuji starts to formulate more of his viewpoint of what he's doing and how he needs to interact with the world currently in this entire exchange. About at some point he will have to just kill a human being when he's dealing with what are referred to as curse wielders, which are the quote unquote evil Jujutsu sorcerers. So he kind of has this reckoning on his own viewpoints of humanity and his interaction with it. So then we jump to the competition between the 2 schools, and the principal of the Kyoto branch is still bent on carrying out the clan elders' orders to kill Yuji.
Because he is one of the elders that sits on that council.
Oh, okay.
And he also despises Gojo. The whole premise is like everyone
Gojo
basically
despises him too.
Well, basically like everybody, there isn't a single person in the entire society that likes Gojo, but Gojo himself.
We were kind of peppered with these guys through the lead up to the competition, but we're introduced to a wider range of wider range of Jujutsu sorcerers. Curse users is the title they keep towards the evil ones.
Could argue that anybody that utilizes curse techniques are curse users.
Yeah, it kind of goes in hand where they're all called curse users, and then there's the curses, and then there's curses that have like curse user-like abilities.
Yeah. In the competition, the principal from Kyoto instructs his students that their primary mission is to kill Yuji. So shenanigans happen, all sorts of one-on-one combat, lots of that's not my final form.
We get a great fight between Itadori and
Toto.
Itadori
gains unwillingly a brother
and a best friend.
And a best friend.
Best
Literally
friend.
Unwillingly
of
gains.
meeting him.
Like he's resistant towards it, and like after everything's done, he's like, I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me.
I just love how
There's no
within like
friendo.
5 seconds of meeting each other, he's like, man, he's weaker than me. This is my best friend. And he's like, and then Toto's like, this is my best friend.
Toto asks
Toto's
him,
like,
what kind of women do you prefer?
and he's like, tall women with a big ass. And he's
Just like Jennifer Lawrence.
Just like Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
And he's like, brother.
So
Their friendship makes me so happy.
It makes me happy too.
we get exposition from these special rank curses to various members of Jujutsu Society about their greater plans for this utopia for curses. It was all a front to allow Patchwork Boy to sneak in and steal a bunch of artifacts, including a number of fingers. Mahito? Oh shit, white girl wasted.
My most hated character in the entire fucking series.
It's Mahito.
He's very much a kid.
He's just so annoying.
He is
Well,
very annoying.
he's
only a couple months old,
only
right?
like a couple months old.
We know somebody that we had watched Jujutsu Kaisen, and they told us that Mahito is his favorite character.
And we were
we
just
both
like,
red flag, red
no,
flag.
red
Yeah,
flag.
absolutely. Red
Anyone
flag.
who likes Mahito's a red flag. I'm sorry. I like.
That is a solipsist viewpoint of the world and like a edgelord, like
God, I
incel
First
kind of
step to
bullshit.
becoming
I did-
the next
yeah.
serial killer.
Oh my, that's
detest Mahito.
the festivities are ended technically due to this interruption by these offensive forces.
Don't forget about the baseball arc.
For a
I love the
moment,
baseball arc.
for a moment,
Poor Toto.
Yuji has a stay of execution, and to wrap everything up, they play a game of baseball. Which, when I saw the title of the episode, I groaned. It was amusing. It was a fun episode.
The baseball
I-
episode's fun.
It was
I love
fun.
how
It was
everyone
fun.
just hates Toto, and Toto's done absolutely nothing to anyone but just exist. And everyone's like, fuck Toto. And you're just
Mekamaru?
like, why?
No, fuck Mekamaru. That's a terrible character. That's a garbage character. Oh my god. I am this waif that never should have been. Like, yeah, that's.
Everything he writes for a reason.
So like everything is, even if it's like the most minuscule thing that you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not gonna remember that. That somehow still had a point and was like almost turns out to be like a huge plot point to the entire series.
Kind of like the last arc in the first season that kind of digs into Megumi's past.
Yep, with his sister and everything.
Yep.
And how important his power is and how important is the
Yeah.
fact that Gojo even took him in to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the first season.
One of my favorite parts in the whole thing is not even like connected to the main story. It's the scene where Itadori pulls Nobara and Gojo, like going, Fushiguro is talking to a girl.
They start like trying to make out like they're his lover,
Yeah,
and the
then
girl's
finally,
just looking for directions.
And then finally Gojo comes up dressed all like fancy, like, come on, we have to go do your violin lessons. And we're just like, ah.
I'm just like, get away from him, you home wreckers.
Yeah.
Megami and I need to go to his violin lessons. This time I'll teach you Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Megami's like, I'm fucking done with all of you. Now get out of here.
She was just asking for directions.
Oh,
Fucking idiots.
So when it comes to the world of shonen action series, I think this is probably one of the better ones, honestly. The animation is really good. I like the character design, except for the curses. The curses look like shit. The generic throwaway monster of the week, where I understand that they're stylistically different from everything else in the series, but they still look like garbage. They look like amorphous blobs that are not patterned very well. And a lot of
I feel
times,
like
That's
though
kind of the
yeah. I think that's
point.
kind of
We
like
were
the
talking
point
about
of them,
that.
though,
Yeah.
is that they're not really meant to be. The stronger that they are, the more human-like
the more
they
of a
become.
presence they have.
Yeah, and then but basically beyond that, because they're the essence of everything bad in humanity.
Yeah.
They're just meant to be what they are, just like blob attachments making people's lives worse than they actually are.
a lot of times the curses will be like muttering something,
Mm-hmm.
and it
Well, it's-
pertains to their reason for existence usually.
So the curses are just him taking a lot of the traditional supernatural concepts in Japanese folklore and giving it a modern spin.
Yeah, and like Bridget said, the
Like,
more powerful you are, the closer to human form you are, because it's
Because the curses are
They're manifestations
what are
of
the
negative energy.
manifestations of the worst of humanity.
It's literally the plot point of the first like 5 seasons of Naruto, of the original Naruto.
Honestly, and it's coming from someone who really did enjoy Naruto, and that was one of the things, like, even as a little kid, I used to watch that all the time.
I watched up to episode 120 of Shippuden.
But anything past that, honestly, it just got to be too much. It was just so bad.
So Yuji with Sukuna inside him, giving him power. That's the exact same thing as Naruto with the nine-tailed demon. Exact same thing. Goes within himself, encounters him within his realm, makes pacts with him to have him give energy. At times he loses himself to the greater power that's within him. We have the schooling system. They're a trio, just like how Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were. Megumi is Sasuke. True,
They're fucking edgelords, though.
Absolutely. And
I hate Sasuke,
and
though.
what's her face? Nobara and Sakura are pretty much the same character too.
I think that's an offense to Nobara, because Sakura to me pissed me off all the time. She was so, I don't even care with the fact that she grew into being actually like a decent character. She still makes me angry to this day, and I kind of hate her for it.
The thing that I appreciate that Jujutsu Kaisen has done,
a
that
strong, independent woman,
that all
She's great, no
that
matter
all
what.
the rest of them have not done, is there is no romantic side story confusing things and distracting plot.
That I did really enjoy.
you do get like
I'm sure
a romantic
I could see that later.
drive. The whole reason the Shibuya arc happens is because he's in love with this blue-haired girl and wants to be normal for her.
Gojo is a combination between Kakashi and Jiraiya. Yeah, he's literally a combination of Kakashi and Jiraiya.
Minus the pervertedness. I'd say he's more Kakashi-like.
I think looks
then that's
Kakashi,
also-
but his
looks
the way
Kakashi.
he deals with Yuji is the way Jiraiya dealt with Naruto. The whole like take him under his wing, I'm gonna train you especially on your own, etc., etc. The entire competition between Kyoto and Tokyo pretty much was the exact same thing that happened during the Chunin arc in Naruto, where it was the competition between the different regions that gets interrupted by somebody who used to be part of Konoha that has plans on destroying it.
Yeah, I think one of the major differences though between that is that in Jujutsu Kaisen, it's supposed to be a fight against who's stronger. So actually these kids are supposed to die in the games.
Sure.
Gojo did change the ruling last second.
Correct. To the baseball thing instead of one-on-one.
Where no one, y'all can't die for no reason.
Yeah. But like I said, season 1, absolutely just telling Naruto better than Naruto could do it. Because it does it more condensed. I think I would enjoy watching the show more if it only had Yuji and Goto. I literally don't care about anyone else in the show. Nanami's amusing. He's amusing. It's kind of like, okay, whatever, cool.
It's one of our favorite characters.
Not Nanami.
He doesn't play a huge part in the
He does
They're
not.
all big fucking too serious
But his
for their own
presence
good edgelords. And it got annoying. It got really, especially the combat between the two sisters, that got really fucking tedious.
The Zenin sisters, yeah.
That got
Yeah.
super fucking tedious.
And how
It makes sense towards the end of it, because it's along the lines that like twins are cursed. So to have twins means that you've fallen out of favor of something.
And they were the official introduction to the whole family thing.
The Zenin
Yeah.
thing,
Like the clans that are running everything within the society.
I just like how the one sister's curse technique is pistol.
I hated that so much.
I talked a lot of shit
Well,
when I
and-
first
and
saw
Oh
that
my
too.
God.
Where I was just like, her
And the-
curse technique is gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially, because all she can do is, because she has such little curse energy,
Yeah.
all she can do is just center it in one tiny little thing, which just happens to be ironically a gun and a bullet. And that's all she does, is that she just can only shoot out really small concentrations
Yeah.
of curse energy, and then she runs out like that, though.
A lot of the characters, especially the Kyoto characters, really felt like he was just coming up with fun ideas and didn't really have, like, he came up with a fun niche concept and then had to work it into a greater narrative.
But Toto's Boogie Woogie.
I love curse technique. Oh God, I love how its name is the Boogie Woogie. And he has so many obscure, even in the manga, he has so many just obscure names for so many curse energy users and techniques.
Like,
It's hilarious.
I think Toto is the most entertaining of the characters from Kyoto.
Kyoto, he is amusing.
I love his pure obsession over
pop star.
over the pop star who
Yes,
happens to be
that
like in
shit's
her.
funny.
I think she's probably in her 30s.
Yeah, she is.
This is not the only character that's going to spontaneously develop a fraternal relationship with Yuji.
Yeah. And Yuji the whole time is just like, okay, that's cool. I just accept
He just
this.
goes along with it, whatever.
Yeah,
Yuji's,
he's just like, and the Jujutsu Society's like, you're gonna die, Yuji. Yuji's like, A-okay.
He's like, well, I
his
guess it's gotta
grandfather's
happen.
like, Yuji, I'm gonna die. Yuji's like, A-okay. Toto's like, you are my brother now and my best friend. And within like 5 seconds of meeting each other, and Yuji's like, A-okay.
Yeah.
It could just be like, Yuji, all I have is a hard-boiled egg and that's all you're gonna eat for a week. Yuji would be like, A-okay.
Yuji is the golden retriever.
He is. He's like such extreme golden retriever. I don't even think he knows what to do half the time.
I would greatly enjoy the show if it was literally just Gojo and Yuji. And Gojo is a sexy man.
He is.
He needs to stop fucking wearing that stupid mask. Oh my god. I hate that so much.
So in
It
lore,
looks
he
so
has
bad.
to. His like severely blue eyes
Yes.
is part of one of his 2 curse
Got
techniques.
it. Yeah, I figured
That's
it was
the
something like
infinite-
that.
They cause him to basically, so it's the 6-eye technique, and then he has another one. The older he got, the even stronger his eyes got.
Sure.
So he's prone to basically having like the equivalent to like headaches. And because it kind of
okay.
kills his brain a lot,
Limitless.
limitless. Because he doesn't need
I think they hinted at it a little bit in the series.
Yeah, what it does is that because he sees everything,
Yeah.
and it's so overwhelming. When he was much younger in the second season, you'll start seeing it more. And you
Yeah.
just see a little bit in the in this season. He wears sunglasses a lot, but
Yes.
even that doesn't help. So the mask is more practical for him because he can see just fine through it, but at least it gives him more of like a more human like sense
Yeah.
of just seeing, so he's not being overwhelmed with his senses essentially.
I feel like he came up with a character design and then figured out a reason why he has the mask on his face.
Which is even funnier because Gege hates Gojo with a burning passion. And what's even funnier is he said, Gojo's modeled after me, and that makes me hate him even more.
He also has the ability to do reverse curse techniques.
Yeah, so he can do basically everything in Jujutsu Society. So like his domain expansion, if you look at it, you are literally in his eye.
He's a Rasengan user.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he
Naruto.
You
has the
because
ability to alter time, space, everything.
Yeah.
he
He's the baddest motherfucker.
He is
pretty
the
much.
baddest motherfucker.
And that's why no one can break his domain expansion because you are legitimately in his eye, so
Yeah.
he can see everything.
I think at the end of it, Jujutsu Kaisen is a really good shonen action series. It does a better job than a lot of the other ones. It still falls within the same tropes, like the fucking training arc bullshit, the need to introduce all these characters that have special personalities and concepts, and then do little deep dives into why they're doing it. I mean, you have to flesh out your world. But I like that the story is more condensed and that it has a finite narrative to it. I appreciate that. One Piece shouldn't be 27 years long.
It's still going.
I enjoy One Piece because One Piece is way different from all the other shonen ones because it's not this battle series. It's just a fucking journey.
It's not even over.
No,
And
it's still
getting
going.
and it's getting a remake.
Correct.
Yep.
So I think, out of, between like The Godfather, Dragon Ball, Naruto, Bleach, Demon Slayer, Hunter x Hunter, I think JJK is probably the best out of all of them because it does have a contained, finite story. I really like the character design. The artwork was phenomenal in the anime. They did a really good job with it.
Just wait for season 2. It gets
It gets way better. This poor math.
The show, though, should just be Yuji and Gojo, honestly. We don't need the other characters.
Mappa really ramps up the animation in the second
Oh
season.
That's
my
what I
God.
heard. That's what I heard.
Especially the ass end of the Shibuya arc after Nanami
That
dies.
got crazy.
The animation is just
Those poor people.
because you really like Zenshu, which is also animated by Mappa.
Yeah, the Ranma remake was
And-
animated
and
by Mappa as well.
Ranma.
No, Mappa's a great studio. They do a lot of really, really good things.
Like
They have a really
the
good-
level of animation at the ass-er end of the Shibuya arc
Yeah,
is very in line with Zenshu's animation style.
got it. Yeah, what's his name who made Naruto should be ashamed of himself.
But-
Because Gege just did what he tried to do and
But better.
did it a lot fucking better. In all aspects. Now, Boruto should not be going. He just needs to fucking
okay,
period.
that needs to end because Boruto is legitimately the worst in my
so
opinion.
bad. It's so.
It's
I've
so
watched a
bad.
couple episodes out of curiosity and was like, oh my god, this is terrible. I appreciate the realism of the character's physical form, but Gege likes men. Pretty sure. Because all the men
are super
are
attractive
just
for no
stacked
ungodly reason.
and ripped and like physique, and all the women are like, okay, they don't have huge
There's actually a point
titties.
to that.
Also-
Gege can't draw women, and he's openly come out and said that he can't draw women, and that he draws women too masculine-like. So, because he's only really drawn men.
I appreciate that the women in Jujutsu Kaisen are not there to be eye candy for the 13-year-olds for masturbation material.
There is one woman in that show that Bridget and I both find very attractive. Her name's Yuki. It's the blonde girl that rides
Love
the
her.
motorcycle. I don't know if you
I haven't seen her.
So, actually, no, you have.
She's the
Not
one that
riding a
asks.
motorcycle.
She's the one that asks.
Is it the one that
Toto-
always tries to get money?
What kind of girl? No. So,
Oh, where
what
she
kind
shows
of girl
up
are you
in a
into?
flashback.
And that's where
Yeah.
Toto got the
Got
whole
it.
thing in, because she was
yes,
Toto's
correct.
trainer.
Yeah,
She's
yes,
hot.
that's right. Yeah.
She is very attractive. Her and I both think she is. Mwah.
But no, I appreciated that because it wasn't just fucking fan service.
Right, and even when Yuki shows up,
The
she's
men,
not
though, a
fan
different story.
service.
She's not.
All the men were just nothing
like
but
her
fan
out,
service.
What
Yeah,
I really
Nanami's
like about the
kind of
whole
fan
series,
servicey. Gojo's kind of fan
They're
servicey.
all fan
like,
servicey.
Mappa knew what they were doing when they made
Toto.
those characters. Toto. I love Toto. I love how he's just existing in that entire realm.
In the Wikipedia page for Gege, it says his biggest influence is Tito Kubo, whatever, the guy who made Bleach. But there's very little Bleach influence I've noticed within Jujutsu Kaisen. It is such a strong Naruto influence, I feel.
Yeah. And I think that's because you start kind of noticing it as the series goes on. You kind of start seeing Gege panic at one point. You can tell because they went, oh shit, we're defeating the villain with the power of friendship. That's not how I wanted this to go. And you do kind of see him start panic at one point. You're like, because he did state at the beginning of the entire series, I know how this is going to end. Nothing is going to change my mind. The editors, no one's going to change my mind. I know the ending to this. It's just how I got here. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But you do kind of start seeing him panic at one point, going, "Oh shit! I made the power of friendship win overall. I don't like this."
Yeah, I
Gege
can
is a
appreciate
state
that.
function. He knows the start and the end. It's just how he gets there is,
And then once he realized that the three friends fighting evil with the power of friendship at that point, he's like, "Oh no, that's not how I wanted it to go."
I mean, technically at the end, the three friends are still alive.
Too many of these characters have ambiguous burn marks on their face, too.
So, and that's another part about Jujutsu Society is that to be scarred as a sorcerer means that you were
Is it
weak.
badge of honor? Oh, it means that you're weak?
No, it means that
oh,
you're
so they
weak.
do it intentionally.
So if you are scarred or have any visible scars anywhere, it means that you are a weak sorcerer. Specifically on the women, and women are already scorned in the society.
Yeah, they got
so
into
women
that.
who have been scarred as well are looked even worse upon than the men are.
That was me watching Jujutsu Kaisen season 1.
So what letter grade do you give it, Steve?
When it comes to Shonen battle, I would put it on the top of the list.
Oh, damn.
Oh,
Top of
For
Shonen.
Shonen battle. For somebody who wants to get into anime that is more action orientated, I think this is actually probably the more preferred introductory series.
I'll give it that.
So you can see why this is one of Bridget and I's favorites.
Sure.
We did it.
Yeah.
No, it's good. He did it well. It still has a lot of annoyances to it, to my tastes and my particular
To your
enjoyment.
flavor, because
Look,
you're a slice of lifey.
I watch
Romance
shitty
guy.
anime too. I just like my own brand of repetition.
Guy, girl, fall in love.
Yeah, exactly.
Awkward reason for them to fall out of love for a little bit.
Oh
They
no,
fall
I
back
hate
in
when
love.
they do that shit.
Yeah, I know, I
oh
hate
my
that too.
god, I hate that. That's why
Like when I got really irritated with shampoo causing the rift between Ranma and Akane. I was just like, motherfucker, I hate that shit.
That's why Pseudo Harem is an example of a perfect romance anime.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
it's
they never
literally
have the-
just the two of them flirting the entire fucking time, and there's nothing else.
I love the drama.
There's
I live for the
barely
drama.
Did you watch
any.
Pseudo?
No,
There's barely any tertiary characters.
but I'm just saying for romance animes and stuff, I love the drama.
It depends.
I like the drama in romance animes, but I hate the trope where it's like
Misunderstanding.
the misunderstanding
Yes.
and no one will listen to the character try to explain why it's just a huge misunderstanding.
I don't mind that, but it just can't go on forever. It can, for me, it has to be like a little bit of it
Sure.
at some point to add kind of just a little extra. So I love the romance animes that have a lot of angst to them, essentially.
Okay.
So I like that build up to see if they survive at the end.
Sure.
Essentially.
So thanks for joining us. I hope you had a good time.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
And for those of you that don't realize, this is the Bridget that I've been talking about much on the podcast, about who introduced me to anime and who had me watch Skip and Loafer, and is a big reason as to why, one, Skip and Loafer is one of my top favorite animes, and to two, why I just enjoy anime and that it's so special to me. So, Bridget, now that you're here in person and on the podcast, I just want to say thank you so much for introducing me to this and allowing me to become a part of this world and be able to do this podcast. So thank you.
Thank you for putting up with all my encyclopedia of anime all the time.
Hey, I want to thank you too, because I was trying to convert him for a number of years. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Like and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on Jujutsu Kaisen. I probably won't watch season 2, honestly.
Like we said the entire time.
Yeah. Like I always say, I have way too many shows that I really want to watch that I haven't been able to put the time into watching.
And if there's a side quest that you desperately want us to do, send us some suggestions for side quests. We'll see some losers that want to
Get on it.
Thanks again, everybody. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank
And we will see you guys later.